How to be happy, consideration of stress factors that we can control and we can't control. Yesterday we looked at the things which mostly are difficult to control or impossible to control. Today we're going to look at those things which are more easily controlled. So let's just kick off. Okay, and the first one that I'm going to deal with is we have some control over what we spend. If money is very, very, very tight, then clearly this does not apply. That would go in the other column. But if we have any leisure money whatsoever, and I include in that treats, okay, or what might be considered treats. I'm going to go from the experience of, let's say, somebody I knew, and like old Mother Hubbard, she had a lot of children, and it was a lot of effort for her to cope, I suppose. So she really didn't feel she had the energy to do any cooking. So consequently, she used to order, well, not order, just to send her children to go and get takeaways or takeouts. And it was an economy of time for her. However, there was a payoff because there was a serious amount of poverty in the rest of the dealings with regard to the likes of clothing, and there was never any spare money for even simple things like a trip to the cinema as a family. However, the other problem was, of course, that there was the equivalent of, well, it was junk food, so probably wasn't doing anything to help the health of her children, and it was money which probably 25% of what was spent on the takeout food could have been spent just even going to shop and buying and getting, say, if she bought the equivalent junk food and put it in the oven or cooked it like that way, there would have been money left over. But if she'd gone and maybe made more wholesome things like stews and soups and things, then she would have not been rolling in money, but there would have been spare money for other things as well. But so if there is money for other things, such as it's a favorite with people, but takeout coffee, it is expensive. Even at McDonald's, coffee is relatively, even if it's black coffee, it's more expensive than, for example, in the workplace, making your own if the facility is there, or even probably the vending machine, although not necessarily. Point being that is one area. Spending. Toxic friends. We're probably going to have to do this over about 2 or 3 days because we're creeping up to 5 minutes already. Toxic friends. And so just as toxic family members, they are your family simply because of an accident of birth, and there are times when you will have to mingle with them, even if you stay on opposite sides of the room and just nod courteously at each other. But toxic friends, they're difficult to recognize sometimes, simply because mingling with them, misery loves company, as the saying goes. So it could be that you get something out of them, but toxic friends and the misery loving company, it is a source of stress. It drains you. At the end of a misery session, then you may feel like you've put the world to rights, but you've achieved very little apart from get something out of your system, but nothing is actually solved. You may have talked things over, but unless you're taking action, then it's very difficult to justify simply complaining with your friends about their circumstances and your circumstances. And in some ways, I've been there. I'm talking from experience here because I used to be a very negative person. What happens is you just have a kind of a competition to be more miserable or more hard done to than each other, and that's a contest which really nobody can win. Yeah, 5:54, 6 minutes. Okay, I'm going to stop there and we will look at some of these other things again. As usual with negative things, they take more time to deal with. There are more of them, and like any hole, it takes more time to dig out of it. So we need to look at all of these. Okay, so things that we can control, we'll go on with part 3 tomorrow. Okay, and like and subscribe and all that other stuff. Okay. Bye.